Sorry. I'm just checking my bags. Good evening. This is Otaku, and welcome to the Otaku Show. Feeling under the weather again today, but man, oh man, I could not break away from doing this tonight. No siree. We are on the move. Bitcoin is on the move. Let's take a look. Bitcoin looking like it's trying to break out of this megaphone pattern we've been in for, man, how long now? Since like last week. But yeah, we are headed out, and on the move. And we had a lot of crazy stuff happen today. We had the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, on MSNBC, or CNBC? CNBC this morning, and I could not believe the battle that the media put up. Oh my God, they put up quite a fight for Bitcoin. And I remember just last year, like, watching these guys and being like, can't tell if they're for or against Bitcoin, because like the only news coverage really starting to cover it thoroughly last year. But yeah, let's just dive into that. Gary Gensler.
What does stake have to do with our securities laws?
That Gary.
That's S-T-A-K-E, not S-T-E-A-K.
You know it. Here we go.
On the set, for the first time to talk about Bitcoin and a lot more, is SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
So it's a month later, and I think we're all curious about how you think this is going, not just in terms of what's happened to the price, but in terms of what you think is happening inside this market, and whether you think it's quote unquote working.
Well, look, we focus on investor protection, and of course the issuers raising money. So this product, we've had similar products in gold and silver, ETFs, you call them. They're technically exchange-traded products. We approved a group of about 11 at one time. This was not the first way you could buy or express a risk in Bitcoin. But as we like to say, we're merit neutral. This was not in any way like an approval of Bitcoin. That existed. It's just how to trade it in these exchange-traded products.
We've had both a futures-based Ether and Bitcoin ETF, before, and I'm curious sort of how you think that this is going to impact the price of these things, given that, by the way, interestingly, who was it, Pomp, who was just on, Anthony Pompliano was just on earlier this weekend, was saying that so few Bitcoins are actually moving.
He actually said Wall Street loves Bitcoin yesterday. Get that.
And what we should think of that.
In merit neutral, I think it's a little less than neutral, Mr. Chairman. It almost was, we called it grudgingly when you finally got it. From the court case sort of forced in. Is it really just neutral, or wasn't there a little bit of a, we're not sure about this thing, and buyer beware?
Let me say it this way.
Yeah.
We're merit neutral if somebody's complying with the laws.
Okay.
So if they're giving full, fair, and truthful disclosures to the American public, who gets to decide on their investments.
But you're so smart. You're at MIT, and people listen to your what you think about Bitcoin, and it is troublesome to me if I look at it and I see all the.
He called him out for being at MIT, where he. I'll have to pull up the video at some point too, where he used to teach, and he was actually talking about Bitcoin and crypto in general, and speaking about which at MIT. And before he was chair, Bitcoin was not considered a security. Neither was I think he said like 90% of all crypto is not considered securities. But yeah, we'll have to dig that up another day.
Merits of it, and someone that taught about it and understands it seems to have an opinion that maybe it's, I don't know, pet rockish or something.
I get your words about pet rocks and so forth. But I think we also have an investor education responsibility at the SEC, particularly about those investments that are non-compliant with either the securities laws
or
commodities laws and so forth. So here we have an asset class. All of these 15, 20,000 crypto tokens,
Yep.
many of which, without prejudging anyone, many of which are actually something called investment contracts or securities, and the platforms upon which you trade, the intermediaries. They're not like in this building, NASDAQ, that has protections and against fraud and manipulation and the like.
So what is a security, Gary? We still don't know. We still don't know what a security is, or what it looks like in the crypto space. So what about the Pokemon card? What about that incident, huh? Is that a security? I had to.
Just seen people lose their shirt on with NASDAQ stocks.
You can lose because there's risk.
Right.
There's risk in investments. But what we try to do as a society is take some of the fraud and manipulation risk out of the markets by regulation.
Is that the problem, though? It's not necessarily Bitcoin, the underlying asset, but more the froth and the potential for fraudsters to use it that has been
Well, this is a
concern?
field, Becky, that's been rife with fraud and manipulation. And look at all the bankruptcies. And you've had on this set people talking about those various bankruptcies. And it's not just one entity. It's entity after entity after entity. And then investors are just lining up in the bankruptcy court.
What do you make of, this goes to the underlying piece of this. You've heard Jamie Dimon say that he would close it down, that basically Bitcoin you've seen the comments, right? It's not just that he closed it down, that he would say it's used by drug dealers and used by folks who are doing all sorts of illicit and terrible things. There's very few things that trade today that people talk about like that. Now, there are obviously frauds and things that happen, but maybe not like this.
Like the dollar is like 100 times more.
Well, I know that's your perspective, but I'm just I'm curious how you think about that.
That's true, though. This is how much has been money laundered with Bitcoin. This is how much. This is Bitcoin. This is dollar.
Yes, Joe. But look.
Yeah, you'd think that we'd have a serious conversation about that in Congress already. Yeah, Bitcoin is immutable ledger. You can see all the transactions on the chain. If you see a transaction you don't like, the U.S. can go after it. Like we have that ability to at least track down a certain wallet, a certain hand of exchange. It's just ridiculous that with all the dollars just floating out there. I mean, I think there's $700 trillion of assets that are valued in dollars, or somewhere around that range. It's just ridiculous. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Here's the Jamie Dimon quote. The only true use case for it is for criminals, drug traffickers, money laundering, and tax avoidance. I know, but we have...
It's his opinion because he's shilling. He's shilling the banks. Obviously, they're going under. They're not going to be able to last. They're not going to be able to survive in this market. When anyone, according to Obama, we covered it last week, he had said, "Oh yeah, everyone's going to have a Swiss bank account in their pocket." Yeah, when everyone has their own. When everyone's governing their own currencies and they are their own bank, there's no need. There's no need for any of this anymore. We don't need to be playing devil's advocate on whether the dollar is more whatever.
We have a guest, Joe. What is your opinion? And what is your opinion that we have something trading on the exchange for the public that has this type of use case, at least as described by the president of one of the largest financial institutions in the country?
It's the leading market share in ransomware, and that's publicly known.
Right.
It's the token of choice for ransom.
I think there's better avenues for that. I mean, one being Monero. I mean, if you want a true privacy coin where you can't really track the end users, wallet-to-wallet transactions. Bitcoin's not it. It's not what you're describing at all. And you're the chairholder of the SEC. You've got all the tools available to you, the government. You know you're in their pocket. You're probably in BlackRock's pocket. We're probably going to see you work for BlackRock in the next coming election cycle because you are out, Gary. You are out. So there's no way we're keeping you in. There's no way. No way at all.
Joe, if I can say, the U.S. dollar, the euro, the yen, you have the whole society using it as a...
Oh, the whole society using it, Gary? Like, How about this? How about the whole society using it? No, more like the government printing it to oblivion. Ridiculous.
Medium of exchange, we buy our cups of coffee, as I see here. We get paid in dollars or yen or euro. And you have a whole central bank and support for one currency generally per economic region. That we don't have here. So there is a very real economic difference.
Which is part of the attraction, since it's decentralized, and you can't have a profligate central bank.
It's not that decentralized.
Well, I know you're saying because of the ETFs, but really it is.
No, it's not that decentralized,
and everything.
because look how finance tends towards centralization since antiquity.
Right.
So what do we have? We have a handful of 3 to 6 core so-called crypto
I understand, but the asset itself, the way that
that's
the
how the
distributed
accounting ledger.
Right. That's how the ledger. And
now, how many times do you have people on this show that say, "I want to invest in something because how the books and records are kept"? I mean, Joe, really?
Yeah, we kind of do want to invest in something that's actually well managed and not just printed to death and having all these corrupt politicians just filling their pockets full of lobbyist money. These bank records are not accurate. You have so much corruption and fraud, and here we are talking about it on the news. Like, it's so obvious at this point. So obvious.
It's just an accounting ledger.
It's a ledger that everyone has, and can't be double counted. It's almost immutable. That's why people think it has inherent value.
So you trust it more than an Oracle database, or you trust it more? I trust it more than a lot of
the Bitcoin bulls say they trust it a lot more than the central bank.
Oh, did you see that, Joe? The anchor at CNBC, he actually just kind of revealed he's a Bitcoiner when he said that.
It has.
You trust it more than an Oracle database, or you trust it more than a lot of
the Bitcoin bulls say they.
The Bitcoin bulls? What? The Bitcoin bulls say it. Yeah, that's they're speaking really, really loud for us, and I'm happy to hear it finally on mainstream media. These news outlets will finally get pushed. But again, it's a different kind of evil. I mean, the average American's not paying attention right now. It's a shame. It's a shame that everyone is asleep. Everyone's not waking up and paying attention to what's going on. This has been the scenario since COVID. We have been destroying our legacy market, and now we're pushing this narrative that maybe Bitcoin is the great reset. Maybe Bitcoin is the future path. Maybe there's some big thing happening soon where Bitcoin's going to be getting who knows, maybe Satoshi had a bigger plan. Maybe because that money's not moved. Maybe there's a reason why. Maybe when 8 billion people are on the planet have a wallet, 100 years from now or something, was it 2140? I mean, yeah, it's 2140. I think is the last block is mined. Then yeah, maybe his grand plan is he's just going to disperse it all evenly to all the wallets. I mean, I would think that would be a fair bet. I mean, that's a long way from now. A long way from now. It's not going to help us now. We're going to have to go through some tough times. Tough times. I mean, you better grab a bat or a gun or something, because you're going to have to fight your way through this. Not everyone who's asleep right now is not going to put up without a fight. This is going to be brutal. I mean, we're talking about a first world country collapsing in 10 years? 5 years? I mean, how Congress was talking today or yesterday, I don't know, recently about how they want to push the wage increase gap again. Like, we can't just keep printing more money, and this is not how you get your economy stabilized. This is ridiculous. No one's working together on this. Nobody.
Trust them a lot more than the central bank that enables the fiscal authorities to spend money to the tune of $33 trillion.
That's everybody's investment choice. But
and then I think about how many things can be used in a deleterious way. Of course, but that has nothing to do with the underlying thing that you're using itself. I mean, I can go run a car into a parade and run over 40 people. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have cars, does it?
No. You should have cars.
I wasn't going to use guns because, God, I don't want to trigger, so to speak, anyone on the set. But
when the use case of a particular thing that you're buying and selling as an investment is just speculative investment.
How many of the 90% of the people that own Bitcoin are using it for ransomware? There must be another use case that makes it so attractive to so many people.
Speculative investing.
Right, speculative investing. That's what. Okay, let me ask a separate question, which is just to pivot this, because I think the next sort of order event question is what happens to Ethereum. For those in the crypto world, they all want to know how you're thinking about that. And really, if Ethereum is a security, how does that analysis differ from how you would think about Bitcoin?
What we did in January was cabin to one set of filings. We have other filings, you're absolutely right, in front of us, but I'm not going to prejudge it for you or the audience. That's something that a 5-member commission discusses and reviews.
Let me ask you a different question, which has to do with indexing. So much of our market is focused on indexes. And you focus historically, or at least the SEC's historically focused on individual securities, right? Individual companies and the like. I'm curious whether you think that the system as it is today actually is working in the right way, meaning a lot of the valuations today you could ascribe to the fact that certain securities are in certain indexes. It relates to what's happening to Bitcoin, by the way.
So it's a great innovation going back decades ago. Jack Bogle, and as you know, you probably interviewed him when he was still alive, invented this idea that you could democratize finance, that rather than buying individual stocks, you can buy the basket. Why buy the needle when you can buy the haystack, he would say. And so it was very much index providers. Well, but actually economists, Joe, you know this, have studied it.
But I thought about it. It's like
no, but they've studied it that you get the benefit of diversity.
And Vanguard does not.
500 guesses.
Vanguard doesn't have a Bitcoin, right? They didn't.
Vanguard is not doing it yet.
They're not
the only ones really, the only of the biggies that didn't do it, correct?
Yeah, I don't think Vanguard actually.
Well, they did not submit an application.
Right. Exactly.
Do you expect, if we're all sitting here at this table together a year from now, that this dozen or so approved ETFs, that there's only like 2 or 3, gets even more concentrated, or do you think that there's going to be, dozens of these things?
That's really up to the market to decide. But what you saw when this happened is fees came down dramatically. There was a bit of a investors benefited because there was a bit of a competition there.
Their margin for the quarter. Actually, we put out a press release accidentally with some misinformation. We corrected it within 10 minutes. It was clearly not intentional on our behalf or on our part. Is somebody from the SEC calling us today and saying, hey guys, we got a problem, we're going to have to send you a font? Like, how does the SEC think about these things?
Let me see if I can just generalize and pivot to artificial intelligence. I gave a talk yesterday up at Yale about this. And so it's sort of like, what is the liability or responsibility of somebody using an AI model? And the AI model might hallucinate.
Right.
And look, we really don't want our advisors hallucinating on mushrooms, and you don't really want your advisors to hallucinate with AI. There's still a responsibility to ensure that you have accurate information, so you could have people trying to defraud the market.
Elon Musk was paid. And I'm curious about it because we step in those roles and say, here's a problem.
Yeah, that seems to be it. But yeah, I mean, holy crap. Media just taking a piece out of Gensler. Happy to see that. Super fired up about it. I mean, who can explain this? Why aren't we talking about this? Why has Congress not addressed this? I mean, the only thing we got is like we have Jerome Powell coming out saying that we're
U.S. federal government's on an unsustainable fiscal path,
and that just means that the debt is growing faster than the economy. We're borrowing from future generations.
We're borrowing from future generations, according to Fed Jerome Powell. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. We are so far ahead from our gradual, inflated dollar. I mean, we've holy crap. I mean, since 2008, when we started printing, I remember Congress was freaking out a bit. I was in high school, or just out of high school, and things just went to crap. My parents lost their house. The entire economy was just failing us. And then they decided we were going to print this little blip right there, 1 trillion. And it was a really big deal. It was a big freaking deal to print $1 trillion. And here we are every year, just 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion. Where are we at now? I think back then we were at like, what, 8 or 10 or 16 trillion dollars. And let's just see the Wayback Machine, or I think that clock can actually show you. I mean, we were in such a better place, I guess, than we are now. Yeah, we can do a time machine on that clock. So go back to 2008. How much debt was on the? Oh boy, where am I even looking at now? These things are just so vastly different. Holy crap. I remember looking at this in 2012 too. That's when I started really paying attention to it. $11 trillion. Let that sink in. $11 trillion before we started printing trillions at a time. Again, the biggest struggle was just getting Congress to pass that bill so they could print that trillion to get us out of debt in 2000, or not get us out of debt. We've never been in debt. Well, we've been in debt because of the banks, because of the Federal Reserve. This is all their fault. They have failed us. They have failed us greatly. And there's no way out. We can't dig ourselves out on this $34 trillion and climbing. I mean, what was it last year? I can't do it. My date. But yeah, I mean, look at this. We're the most overspent economy in the entire world. We can't even get it back. And if we were not to spend a single dollar the entire year of 2024, we would never be able to pay it off. $27 trillion in gross domestic product, GDP. Out of what? Our debt, national debt? Oh, that's not how it works. So you people could say, oh, that's not how it works. Well, how we? I mean, Jerome Powell even came out and said on 60 Minutes, I had that voice clip, we are borrowing from future generations. This is where we're at. And the best way to free yourself of this, to secure your life, your wealth, is to buy Bitcoin and other tangible, non-tangible crypto, whatever you call it, stores of value, actual stores of value other than the dollar. Every time you throw $1 into your savings account, each one of those dollars is depreciating about 1% every month, on average. 1% every month, 10% a year, give or take, on average. Our purchasing power is going to zero. I mean, people are. I mean, it's just rough. I go through Twitter and I see some of these videos that people are just like hanging out on the street. Kids getting beat up on buses. The overall sentiment is, I'm not happy in my life, whether it is a kid being bullied on a bus or whatever. I mean, I remember back when we were kids, or I was a kid. I shouldn't speak for everyone else. The most important thing was just getting home on time. The most challenging thing was just getting home on time to watch Saturday morning cartoons over the weekend, or like watch the Toonami block. Again, I'm the Crypto Otaku. The Toonami block was definitely something I wanted to get off the bus as soon as possible for. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, the world these kids are living in. I feel so bad. I wouldn't want to bring anyone into this world, and not, at least not in America, not in some of these other countries that are feeling it. And hopefully Argentina will pick up on that, like El Salvador and other countries around the world will start adopting Bitcoin and get out of this. They will get out of financial, get themselves to financial freedom with Bitcoin. Yeah, because you fix the money, you fix the world. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of go over that. I was again really excited to see you know, the media fight Gary on this live this morning. It was incredible. I wasn't able to watch all of it, but it appears like it kind of ended there. But yeah, Bitcoin, the users too. I wanted to kind of go over that. Just a reminder, how many people own Bitcoin in 2024? This was put out by Josh Howarth on Exploding Topics, and just kind of outlines where the blockchain sits with its end users, and how many users are holding wallets, and how many users are holding wallets of 1 Bitcoin or greater, or less than 1 Bitcoin. And it seems to be about 50 million unique addresses right now have a non-zero balance. A non-zero balance. That's a fraction of the world. It's a fraction of the entire world. There's 8 billion people on this planet. We gotta start getting out there, hitting the pavements, talking to people on the streets. I've reached out to all my friends and family. If you're watching this, I doubt it. But yeah, we gotta get away from zero. You gotta get away from zero. You gotta get, and Mark Yusko says that the best. You gotta get away from zero. Yourself at any percentage. We went over this a few days ago about how 0.25 Bitcoin could change your life in the next 10 years. Just having a quarter of a Bitcoin is going to be nearly impossible, because there's only 100 million people. If you count all the Satoshis that will ever be mined, there's only 100 million people that will ever be able to get to 0.25, 0.21, which is insane. And it's even lower than that now, since we know that there's so much lost. There's a whole bunch that hasn't been mined, and you have people like Giga Chad Sailor who have 200,000 Bitcoin in just his company, not yet his personal accounts. We can't keep ignoring our friends and family. We got to keep pushing. We got to be strong, because it's going to be too late. At some point, it's going to be too late. No one's going to be able to. Everyone's going to be looking at Bitcoin. I think this is the biggest disparity, is that people look at Bitcoin as 1 Bitcoin is X amount of dollars. As of right now, it's 52,000, struggling around that range, which is incredible, especially before a halving. But 1 Bitcoin is 52,000. So is everyone, your loved ones, usually the initial reaction I get is, I can't afford 52,000 for 1 Bitcoin. Yes, but the underlying asset, you don't need to own 1 Bitcoin in order to be in the 1% of the entire population and the new wealth on the planet. I believe this will be the Great Reset, and Bitcoin will be our salvation. And the government now is going to have to fight tooth and nail to try to pass legislation and regulation in order to keep us down, to maybe KYC our wallets, which is insane. I'm not giving them my key phrase, my seed phrase, my keys. That's not my crypto. If I'm giving them my keys, they don't need to know my wallet. But they already do. That's the sad part. Bitcoin is traceable. Whatever exchange you started on, and you purchased with because you had an on and off ramp at some point, whether that's Visa, MasterCard, or PayPal. You're paying with something to get off zero. So I just kind of wanted to review that. And we can kind of dive into a little bit more of these statistics after I'm done rambling. I'm losing my voice. But yeah, an estimated 1 billion people around the world use cryptocurrencies. Estimated. But only 50 million unique addresses have a non-zero balance, meaning they're not all using crypto. Most of them don't even, I mean, they're not all using Bitcoin. Most of them, they're using crypto, but they're not even aware that they're using crypto for the most part. That would be my assumption when it comes to that rough number of 1 billion people. Cryptocurrency creator Satoshi Nakamoto is thought to own 1 million bitcoins worth 40 billion. It's actually 40 to 60 billion. It's actually more than that now, because we've tried to call out Satoshi, because his wallet has been inactive since the beginning, and we just passed regulation. I think it was the end of last year, the beginning of this year, where any amount over $10,000 has to be reported to the IRS, and they just started flooding his account with money trying to, or Bitcoin, to try to get him to come out. We'll see at the end of the year if anything comes of that. I'm interested because, I mean, Bitcoin, Satoshi's basically a prophet at this point. We'll see. There are more than 250,000 confirmed transactions of Bitcoin daily. Yep. Research from July 2021 shows that 89% of Americans, adults, have heard of Bitcoin, which I believe that might be a little high. It's hard. I haven't spurred up a conversation with anyone new lately, but it's coming. I'm working on actually getting an avenue to do that, especially with the Gen Zers. I really want to reach out to the younger generation because they need to get on this. I don't care if it's 0.001 Bitcoin. I mean, that and they're enough. There's only enough to go around. 0.01, 0.001 even. All 8 billion people on the planet right now, and again, there's going to be more people by then. Can't even have that. So we need to get this message out there and get it spread. And some of this will kind of even out too when the boomers start dying off. But yeah, we'll see. About 46 million Americans, roughly 22% of the adult population, own a share of Bitcoin. So they're saying that 46 million Americans, which is interesting because that's around 50 million of the unique addresses. 46 million of those addresses own a portion, a share. So when it comes to that, like, we're looking at 4 million Americans, or 4 million unique addresses in the world even, have more than their fair share. They have 1, 10, 100, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000. I'm not sure how much Michael Saylor has. Shout out to Michael Saylor. But I know his initial investment was 10,000 Bitcoins in 2020. There was a friend of his had an interview that came out, I think it was last year, right a few months ago. I remember seeing it, and he was specifying that, oh yeah, I was friends with Michael Saylor. He is friends with Michael Saylor a long time, and he's the one who turned him on to Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor turned me on to Bitcoin too in a big way, because 2020 was a crazy year. Tons of time sitting around watching the world just go to chaos. Kind of what, how this all started. But yeah, absolutely insane. There's too many people out there that are just not aware of what's going on. 29% of all millennial American parents own cryptocurrency. That's kind of high. I'm actually surprised. Well, it is 2024, and some of the data was different in 2023, but that seems significantly higher, which is good. I mean, we're starting to really get the word out. I think it may only be 10 or 15% higher than last year, though. 51% of all Americans in May 2021 had bought cryptocurrency for their first time. Yeah. I don't know about that. For me, it might have actually been right around that time frame. I can actually go back in my chart and look because I pinned it. First time I bought Bitcoin. Let's see. Let's go on the daily chart. I've got so many layers to this. So many. Oh man, we got to dive into some of these one night too, because I've got so many charts I've done on Bitcoin. So yeah, my first entry was actually in July. So it would have been, yeah, the middle of July. I bought in here at roughly like 35, 30, yeah, somewhere on that. Right before the big dip. I got lucky, I got fortunate, but then we came back up and retested anyway and came all the way back down. I learned about Bitcoin. Here we are today in 2024. Yeah, so it's been a wild and crazy ride. Bitcoin is just it's unstoppable. You can't stop it. I mean, the government's fought tooth and nail. I've gone through everything in the last the whole narrative of 2022, the end of 2021. It's, oh no, we're crashing, it's over. 2022, all the exchanges are collapsing. Why? Because they're manipulated. Surprise. And then boom, we have the banking collapse. Oh no, Bitcoin going up. And we're not out of that. We're not out of that. At the beginning of this year, we've already started to see banks started to collapse again. We had 3 that got really, really close. And it's a shame. We're living in society where we can't trust anything or anyone, and the media has been just lying to us since COVID, or way before COVID. Since COVID, I've kind of really picked up on it. So this two-party system's a lie. It's just crippling our economy. What else we got left on here? Number of Bitcoin owners. How many people own Bitcoin? As of February 2024, that's right now, this month, around 50 million people own Bitcoin. So that is the big answer. How many wallets own more than one? Just gotta skim through this. There's a lot of really interesting data here. I'm not gonna bore you with it though. If you want to go read it, it's definitely a good read. The top 10 crypto billionaires. We go over this almost every night. Well, at least the exchanges and the not the actual people. Ooh, this is big. Sam Bankman-Fried, this 20-something MIT graduate, founded the derivatives exchange FTX and quantitative trading from Alameda Research. His net worth is 8.7 billion. That is insane. Brian Armstrong, CEO, founder of Coinbase, 8.9 billion. Chris Larson, Ripple XRP, 3.4 billion. Yeah, there's some big guys on here. Big guys. Look at Michael Saylor catching up too, 2.3 billion. Any other significant? There's Tim Draper, 18.7 million, now worth 1.5 billion. Yeah, so everyone's climbing. Everyone's climbing up. But yeah, it's here. We are at the beginning. We're at the forefront. We're knocking on that door. We're climbing the staircase back up. And like I covered yesterday with British Hodler, came out with this great short yesterday. I pointed it out on my channel that we're looking at an average of $500 a day on price, on the price increase of Bitcoin. And I really don't care how much Bitcoin is. I look at my portfolio and yeah, it's great. The number go up, but no amount of Bitcoin don't go up. So hopefully you're still stacking sats, because every single dollar you pour into it now, when we go into hyperinflation, like Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the Rich Dad Poor Dad, says we're gonna do, and of course many other economists out there, we're gonna be in a load of hurt. And I hope to at least start breaking out and traveling and getting experience in before this whole world goes to shit, because it's coming. This is the world we live in now. This is dystopian future. I say it all the time. Blade Runner, Mad Max, it's here. Guns a blazing. People gonna be riding the streets. You thought George Floyd was big? Ho ho! Wait until you see the money crumble. The people burning dollars in the streets, just tearing apart our own currency. We talked about that the other day, about how the nickel is worth close to 10 to 15 cents now per nickel. That's a 2 to 3x of its current face value in its raw state. I mean, that's what happened to Argentina. And you know what? I found that video. I was talking about that yesterday, probably the day before. I keep going back to it because it's important. It's very important to see what could happen. And here it is. This was Argentina last year.
Esta moneda de 2 pesos. Le saco esto. Y esto solo nomás vale 12 pesos.
The only coin you need is right here. Just this one. That's all you need.
Vale más por metal que lo que vale la moneda. El que sabe, sabe.
Yep. So wanted to show that because yeah, the story behind this is the dollar. I mean, if you're not aware, Argentina's peso went basically to zero overnight. People were burning their money literally in the streets to keep warm, like everyone always talks about. Yeah, Javier Milei finally he won last year with a astounding 80-90% vote, and he's a pro Bitcoiner, and I'm hoping the best for Argentina. I really am, and all the other third, second world countries in the world, because you know what? It's gonna flip soon. I hate to say it. I love America. I was born in America. I had some of the best time in my life in America, but it's not the same America in 2024. It's not the same America from 2008. It's not the same America since I was in middle school, maybe. I can remember being proud of what 9/11, all this stuff going on. I mean, I just don't believe anything anymore. So yeah, I want to just kind of dig that out of the woodwork. I'll probably bring it back a few more times. You gotta show this stuff. You gotta reiterate. This is where we're at. This is where we're headed. Boom. All right. So enough about Bitcoin. Let's see what's going on in the rest of the market. A lot of stuff is up today. I can't even keep track of all of it. I keep looking down at my phone and be like, what the heck next? Whoa, that just pumped. I think ETH had a breakout today as well. There's a lot of stuff to go over. Let's dive in. Ooh, look at that. Looks like Bitcoin's taking the run. And this is what happens if you're not familiar with this market. If you didn't live through the last bull cycle or the one before that, I don't blame you. But this is what happens. Bitcoin does its run up, pumps to infinity and beyond, and then all the altcoins start selling off into Bitcoin. And then once Bitcoin settles down and we have like a lull, right? Which we haven't really had in a while. Then maybe somewhere back here we could have had that between I have to go back and look, but yeah, between the end of January into February, the first week of February, we had a bit of a run up on alts, and this time again, I've been saying this a lot lately. This time might be a little different too, because I'm starting to notice that Bitcoin doesn't need to stop for these alt to run up. I think people are starting to figure out that the more that they start placing their bets on the altcoins as Bitcoin is pumping, then the likelihood of them making a bigger return is it's higher. So, but yeah, traditionally in the Bitcoin in crypto, Bitcoin will do his run up. When it starts to slow down and go sideways, sells into to alts. A bit of a sell down correction, and then rinse and repeat. Bitcoin will go run up, alts will sell into Bitcoin, and we'll just keep going higher and higher with more legs up. So I'm interested to see, now the ETFs have been seeded. Now America's running with them. Wall Street's in. I mean, again, Anthony Pompliano coming out and saying,
Wall Street doesn't just like Bitcoin, they love Bitcoin. You think
that's right. They love Bitcoin. So, what else do they love? Dollar bills, y'all. And I hope with a little bit of hate for Wall Street and what it's done to the American way of life and the corruption in our judicial system and the financial space, that we do start to start pulling from Wall Street, start taking back from them. I mean, this could really be the new movement for Occupy Wall Street. I mean, all we did was kind of run around with like anonymous masks, right? We had an anon mask, and we were protesting Wall Street. Oh, the 1%ers, we are the 99%. And this is definitely a way to get back, because I'm not sure. Wall Street's not stupid, right? I'm not sure if they really are gonna continue to sell off their assets, just like any other asset on Wall Street, and cycle them back into this traditional market. And you know what? I keep thinking about this too, about how the S&P 500, right? It's like everyone keeps saying, oh, all-time highs. How much of that is truly just inflated year after year after year, right? Like, I'll have to do a little bit of research into that, but I think there is some sort of connection to, are we even seeing a return? Like, truthfully, are we just seeing a monetary adjustment to inflation, maybe just maintaining a little bit of that wealth? Because on average, I think Michael Saylor said it best. I think he said, I'll have to find the clip and play it one day, but Michael Saylor said that holding the US dollar is like holding melting ice cube in your hand. It's going to depreciate about 1% a month, 10% a year, and then your average stock return, if you're just investing and not trading, is between 5 and 10%. 5 or 10%. So what are we even doing? We're just maintaining wealth for the wealthy, and then middle class is gone. That doesn't exist anymore. It's just like low class and poverty. That's it. This is where we're at. We are here. We're gonna have to start getting I don't know, biker gang started or something. Protect yourself. You're gonna go Kaneda on your ass, from Akira. But yeah, absolutely insane where the markets are headed, where Bitcoin's at. We just keep making all-time highs. I had to keep creating more and more chart patterns. We keep invalidating these trajectories, right? So we were going smooth and sideways on this channel since August of last year, and then boom, we get this megaphone pattern that just doesn't refuse to go down. It just keeps going up, and at this rate, all-time highs. We went over it yesterday. It was only going to take like until the halving, on a low base case with British Hoddle's $500 a day price increase on average, with BlackRock and the rest of the ETFs throwing in $500 million a day, $500 million into Bitcoin, and that's probably not even really hitting the multiple right. And we have no idea what that's going to look like. We could be at an 80,000 by the halving. We could be at 75,000 by the halving. That's what we calculated yesterday, about 75K. which would put us about 6,000 or 7,000 more than the previous high. So yeah, this is getting nuts. It's coming fast. I never thought this would happen this quickly. I mean, look at this. We are on the precipice of the halving. It's not that far away. Got a little bit of a gap. Everyone was afraid down here. That fear is gone. Wall Street's in. Big money's in. Corporate everything. Corporate greed is it's not stopping. So I kind of wanted to share this too. This has been my Bitcoin halving chart for a long time. I even went back to the days before TradingView even covered the start of Bitcoin. Just to kind of see where we really were, and about average, again, diminishing returns. This time could be different. It could. It really could. Some speculators out there saying that we're going to hit $1 million this year. Would be. I can't even fathom it. And I even have predictions on here from previous call outs from last year. I need to probably go back and update these, because this is all old information. 2022, 2023 price predictions. It could be much higher now. I mean, JP Morgan's saying 2024 we're going to hit 120K. That's kind of how I entered the bull run thinking, to be honest. And then we just keep going up and gets more and more ridiculous. 2025, 318,000 Citibank prediction. Standard Charter, 50K in 2023. Oh, that's out the window. We didn't quite even hit that at the very end of the year. I think we got close, but that one's over. We're done with that. And then, yeah, where we're at, we've got. I filled the gaps with some of these too to make sense of some of the later price predictions. It gets crazy, I'm telling you. As we keep going up, 2026, $1 million. Arthur Hayes very famously said that. We're really not that far away either from $1 million from his original price target, 2026. It's kind of in line with Kathy Wood. I think it's a little before her prediction, but. Then April 2030 ARK Invest. Yep, that's when Kathy Wood believes that we're going to go to 1 million 2030. That may have also changed too. Again, this is probably updated to last time mid last year, and then we get to really absurd, crazy numbers. I gotta go way out to even see this stuff. Like a month, all the way up here. This crazy stuff. I'm trying to fill the gap to the next big price prediction by yours truly, Fidelity. 2038, Fidelity predicts Bitcoin's going to be worth $1 billion USD. Now, none of this isn't taking into consideration price inflation. I put all these yellow ones in here to kind of place where I think if Fidelity is even close on this crazy price prediction, where we would be over the coming years. But this is not even well. Some of this is. I remember Coinbase come out. The CEO of Coinbase, I forget his name already. He came out and said that was it Brian Armstrong? He came out and he said that that Bitcoin was going to go to $1 million last year. Remember that? Going to $1 million last year, and that was based on the fact that we needed to up the debt limit, the debt ceiling, in which. If you heard about that, we increased the debt ceiling indefinitely until 2025 after the elections. Why? We just watched this. We're watching our entire future crumble. Our entire future crumble.
The federal government's unsustainable fiscal path.
And that just means that the debt is growing faster than the economy. We're borrowing from future generations.
That's right, Jerome. Even the Fed knows it, and they tell us. They told like millions of people that watched that 60-minute episode. How are we ignoring all this? What are we doing? Just the election doesn't even matter. We're just gonna throw another puppet in there. It's gonna be a two-party system. It's a shame. It's a shame to watch this all unfold, and And like, I talk to my friends and family all the time, like, I see this happening, and then it happens, and then it happens, and it happens. And it's just like, I'm not a prophet. I'm just seeing the news. I'm just reading in between the lines. I see what's going on in both sides. I just tear it all apart and extract the information that's actually usable and ignore all of the stuff that just doesn't quite make sense. Like, or it's irrelevant. Like, Trump's going to prison. Biden's Hunter Biden's laptop. The laptop. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's all noise. It's to distract you. It's to distract you from what's really happening. And we're destroying this legacy market, TradFi, and everything else. And we're bringing in the robots. We're bringing in the AI. Bringing in crypto. And yeah, it's coming. It's insane. And yeah, this is just crazy too. If we I'm really excited to see if we break out of this trend that we've been on too. Because the next, according to this chart, the next stop would be our new all-time high would be around like 100, just about 120, 125, based on the trend, just based on the trend alone. And will this trend hold now that Wall Street's in? Now that smart money's all in, ETFs have launched, retail investors starting to figure out a little more and more, not much. Yeah, we'll see where this all plays out. Alrighty, man, I've been ranting and raving away tonight. Ranting and raving away. But yeah, let's see what else is going on. We haven't even covered the crypto bubbles quite well today. Everything on the day is pretty much up. Everything's green. Bitcoin had its pump last night on the Chinese market, the foreign exchange markets. I am in the United States, so yep, everything's up decent today. Again, if you look at all of the big movers right now, it's pretty much all utility. Bonk is up 12%. It's the only meme coin I see up a significant amount. We're gonna start seeing the Doge people again. We're gonna start seeing Shiba Inu, and there's Doge up 7%, almost 8 there. Yeah, we're gonna see all that. But yeah, I'm happy to see some of these other big projects starting to get some attention again, some love. Stacks, Say. There's just a lot. Ada's gonna have. Yeah, I saw that on the ticker the other day, or a couple hours ago, that it was almost up to 60 cents. I was like, oh, nice. Ada's finally doing their run. They're finally starting to run. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. All right, the dollar's somehow going up higher, probably because of the decline in the Chinese markets and the yeah, we'll see. Fear and greed index, we're even higher on the stock exchange. A little bit. We're almost evened out now. And I noticed too yesterday, the S&P 500 had a bit of a decline at the end of the day, and Bitcoin's just kept riling. It's just completely ignoring that. Again, at least $500 million rolling into Bitcoin every day of these ETFs. And we got more coming. So let's see what's going on in the exchanges. Quick little check. Bitcoin's coming down on the amount on exchanges, not by too much. The coin market cap, top 10. We still got Doge in the top 10 slot, and Chainlink fighting for the top 10 again. Man, they're Doge is coming up a bit. They were neck and neck just the other day. Nothing else looks like they're close to flipping. Maybe Tron might flip Chainlink next. Polkadot's catching up. Wow, nice. Polygon, Uncoin, Shiba Inu. Jeez. Yep. Man, look at that. Look at that. Look at that bullish price action on Sheep. Crazy. Crazy place. 65 days and 1 hour until the halving. 5 days. Where are we gonna be? Are we gonna be 65,000 by then? Are we gonna be 75,000 by then? Are we gonna be 80K by then? Are we gonna be $100,000 per Bitcoin by then? I mean, place your bets. I still haven't heard nothing about Qatar. All these other sovereign nations getting in with their wealth. It'll be right around the corner. We haven't actually taken a look at the Bitcoin rainbow chart in a while. Let's just take a look and see where we're at. Wow, we're starting to actually get closer to still cheap. It's the first time we touched that this year. So last time we were there, it was June 5th of 2022. So we're coming up. And where are we at with the rest? Let's take a look at what's going on in the markets tonight and the news. South Korea's NPO generation. What? South Korea's young people are known as the NPO generation, a phrase that suggests that they were abandoned, but they found new hope in crypto. Wow, I did not know that. Interesting, might have to take a look at that. Solana meme coin bonks by 7% after proposed deal with Revolt. Coinbase surges 37% as Bitcoin pumps. ETH. I mean, yeah, we got the ETFs around the corners for ETH. Yeah, and this is happening too. I was looking at that. I was like, this is not gonna matter. Court declares Genesis to liquidate $1.3 billion worth of Grayscale. So they've been approved to sell this off. That's fine. They want to sell that off. That's $1.6 billion worth of shares of Grayscale. Sell it off. The first day you do it, it'll be a third of our entry of the day to replace that. So we'll only be down 2 days. Not even down. We'll be moving sideways for 2 days if they sell this all in one lump sum. I'm not worried about it. And maybe this will be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, or sell the news event in particular when it actually goes down, when they get these moving. But I'm not worried about it. Bitcoin is just on a rampant recovery. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, wow. Ooh. Oh, it's not done yet. I got excited for a moment. Like, Craig Wright cross-examination ends as COPA trial closes for the day. Yeah, he's Craig Wright is coming out. It's been going on for a while now. The trial in UK. He's claiming to be Satoshi. Yeah, we'll see. He wants intellectual rights at least to Bitcoin. That I know for sure. So, yeah, we'll just see what's going on as that develops. Bitcoin hits 2050 UK. Yes, we're finally over the $1 trillion market cap, which is great. Yeah, we are finally back up where we used to be. And the last time we were up this high, I think it was only 1.25. Bitcoin hit its all-time high. I mean, we're not that far away. We're not that far away at all. Let's go and confirm that real quick. Bitcoin. I know you can do it's coin market cap. Market cap, and we're going to go to the all-time chart, and there it is. Like I said, $1.25 trillion, the last time we reached our all-time high. That's not that far away. 1.25 trillion. Last time we were at $1 trillion of market cap, we were actually a little higher, I think. That was March 21st of, no, March 11th of 2021. Let's see what the price was in that time period. So it was 57,821. So yeah, we're actually a little on sale right now. Bitcoin, you heard that. Bitcoin's on sale right now. About $5,000 ish, depending if this comes down tonight and corrects. I don't really see much of a pullback happening. Look at this crazy pattern too. We're creating a cup and handle on the monthly chart. That's insane. Absolutely insane. It's crazy. Oh, just insane. Last time we had a pattern quite like that in the long-term time frames was what, back here, back in May of 2021. That's crazy. And then we had this one back here, a little bit of a cup and handle back here. Yeah, it kind of met the wick that run off there. So that was December of 2017. So yeah, this is just on a warpath. On a warpath. We're getting ready to go attack on Titan on this legacy market. For sure. Alrighty. Lost my page. That might be all I got for tonight. We jumped into so much. I've ranted and raved all night. I think at the end of the day, I see Bitcoin just going higher. Markets opened in China 5-10 minutes ago. So we're probably going to see a big run up tonight. I would love to stay up, but again, I'm losing my voice. I'm kind of recovering. Bitcoin's recovering as I'm recovering from probably the flu. It's flu season here in the States. So watch out for that beer flu 2024, right? Anyway, hope you guys are having a great night. Hope your bags are pumping. Hope you're telling your friends and family, get out there, and don't let your dreams be dreams. Buy Bitcoin. Otaku out. Have a good night. Later.